What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the weekly walk-off. Welcome to July in the MLB. Absolutely insane. We had a fun week of baseball. We're going to get into it this episode, talk some game week 28, game week 29. I'm here with Nate. What's going on?
What's going on, man? This is I love me some July baseball. Love the All-Star break. I've got a July birthday, so I've always kind of like attached those two things together. Always enjoyed this part of the summer, so happy to get to it.
Let's go. Pipe it in the chats, everybody. Welcome on in this week. I'm going to start the episode off with, we were just talking about it, probably the best celly that I've seen in a while for a walk-off home run, the Carlos Santana. Let's just have a good time and watch this together, because every time I watch it, it is just a blast. I'll add it to the stream and we'll kick off the episode that way.
Just an absolute moonshot too.
Mute.
Santana been doing it for so long. Lovable guy. Like, who's gonna hate on Pittsburgh? Packed house. Those jerseys are sick. And then who sees this coming?
Hey.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh my goodness.
One of the best baseball moments I've seen in a long time.
That just makes me smile. I mean, incredible call too. That was a call.
Yep.
And yeah, Santana, 37 years old, absolute nuke job.
Yep.
And a celly of all time. Yeah, those City Connects are kind of sick too. I did like those PGH.
I love City Connect in general, man. Has just been such a cool injection of fun into the MLB. I love those uniforms.
It's cool. How do you feel about the Boston ones? I like those.
Oh yeah, I love them. You know what? In the beginning, it was a little bit like jarring. It was just so different than anything we had ever seen before. But at this point, I love when they wear those.
Yeah, it's super fun. The Giants ones are growing on me. I always hated them at first, but they actually really are growing on me.
My head.
The Giants have the G they have a very heavily fog themed uniform.
Okay.
Kind of covered in fog. They wear the orange hat, and they used to orange out on Fridays. I'm not sure if they're still doing that at home, but good evening, happy Sunday. And Drew, I will not post your comment, Viva los Dodgers, but let's go Giants. Viva los Gigantes. Cheers to July. Cheers to July. Let us know in the chats what you've been watching this week in baseball. I'll rattle a few off the top of my head, and then we'll get into the standings, kind of talk. I mean, RIP to a couple of teams. Are we too early to talk that? And then some teams that may be falling off and making a run in the second half of the MLB season coming up to the All-Star break. So by the time we have the next episode here, we will be full on waiting for the Home Run Derby coming up, which is one of my favorite events. So, but this week's been fun. We had a big trade, Aroldis Chapman to the Texas Rangers. I think Henry Davis got called up this week. Is that right?
Was it this week or last week? Has he made two? I forget, but yeah, very recent.
Okay, so that's been fun. I watched one of those games, and he's looking really good. I saw his rare card go for auction, the number 1 out of 100. So I knew it was recent. Shohei has been ridiculous.
Insane. It's like he heard us talking shit.
Yeah, unbelievable. My question is my question in the Discord was, how many times is Shohei going to make the thumbnail for this channel?
Dude,
because
how many times is Shohei going to score 100 points in a game week?
Unreal.
Crazy.
Jeez Louise. What up, DJ Local? We'll talk All-Star game. Maybe we could pull up the All-Star starting rosters. Are those locked in for sure?
Yeah, I think it just got announced like half hour ago.
Okay, perfect. We'll take a look at those. Other things that I had in mind, Domingo Germán, perfect in Oakland. The week after, I thought he was going to do some damage to the Mariners. Started in my lineup, did terrible, sold him. And then, of course, a 50-point perfect game. Olsen and the Braves are just rolling. Olsen looks incredible. Too hot not to start. that's why you ride guys out that are good hitters. We've talked about this all the time. When they're slumping, they will come back around. And I would love to take a look at the marketplace and see what Olsen's going for right now.
I think his most recent auction went for like $100.
Okay, well, it had dropped down to like
his
40.
first year cards are like $80 floor right now.
Okay, well, it had dropped to 40.
Yeah,
I remember.
I bought him for 25 this offseason.
There we go.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah. We'll talk strategy as well at the end too. I have some strategies going into the second half. We've kind of talked about how I'm kind of rearranging, refocusing on rares a little bit. Keeping definitely a lot of limiteds and focusing on the limited pro, which I know you've had a good game weekend recently.
Yep.
So let's pull up some Sorare like scoreboards, I guess. You got any action coming in this week?
I've got a bunch of like fringe. I mean, I feel similar to you, like where I feel like I've kind of honed in on a strategy at this point and feel like I've yielded at least T4, T5 most game weeks for the last few weeks now. But yeah, for today or for going into tonight, I've got my limited all-star sitting at a tier 5, McClanahan -3. That one killed me there.
Yep.
And then I've got a tier 3 with limited American League. So that one's definitely my best lineup, and another tier 5 with National League. So nothing crazy this week, but again, three of them flirting with rewards. So can't be mad at that.
Nice. Yeah, that's always good. I'm looking at my second tier 1 common in a row, which is always cool. We talked about bragging rights. I mean, top 500 out of 26,000. That's always fun. Definitely. I got a Simeon last week. We'll see what we get this week. I think that will be my 4th or 5th like tier 1 common so far. So I remember pulling Mookie as one of those for sure. Simeon, blanking on the other ones, but should have another tier 1 common locked in. I had a top 100 finish in that competition and pulled a limited card. So that was sweet.
Nice.
Pulled a Dansby Swanson as a T3, which I sold, which was nice. And I had some action right here. I'm 10 points away from a tier 5. Camilo Duvall has a 100% chance of getting a save tonight in New York. Ross Stripling's going to go 8. Duvall's going to come in and close it off.
Mm-hmm.
And the rain in Chicago has been a major buzzkill, but I was hoping for another Morel home run off of Aaron Savall today. So still got some possibilities on that one right there. We found an update that we wanted to share, a cool little new feature that Sorare popped in. You can now see the old rewards that you have gotten just by kind of taking a look under here. So if you go into past game weeks, if you want to kind of track your yields, go back retroactively and check what you're yielding. It's a lot easier to do that now, which is sweet. So shout out to Sorare on the upgrade on that end.
If you want to kick it over to me, I had I would say my best overall, not my best individual finish in a contest, but my best overall performance across a game week, last game week. So ended up, like you said, limited pro, definitely my highest finish in limited pro so far, 88th overall. Just missed that top 50 to get a rare reward, but ended up with a Yelich and $5 of ETH there. Then
Nice.
Tommy Henry with my limited AL finish. And then the best finish was the limited all-star, 21st overall. Grabbed myself a Jazz Chisholm that had a complete lack of supply because he's been hurt, didn't have auctions. Insta sold that for 40, and I'll turn that into something that I want it to, or that works with my current strategies. I've got my set stacks, and I think we'll get into strategy a little bit here, but yeah, always nice to get multiple rewards, add it all up, nice chunk of whether it's cards or ETH to funnel back into different cards. So yeah, it's been a good couple game weeks.
I don't think there's a better time to sit on ETH. I think we're going to see a little bit of a dip in prices come the All-Star break, and in the second half of the season a little bit just due to utility being down. I'm keeping my eye on a few things specifically, one of them being playoff teams, one of them being buy lows, guys who are slumping, who we think the numbers are eventually going to come around on. They got to make up. If they've been consistent in RBIs, home runs over the past handful of seasons, you got to think that some of these guys are going to come around, which they always do. Case in point, Olsen, when he was dipping a little bit, Austin Riley,
Jose Ramirez.
The Braves have been insane. We got DJ Local sitting in 21st in limited all-star right now. Nice. Nate, I thought you were going to hang on to a top 50. I was watching that like a hawk. You were just right there at the border, and it must have been Sunday Night Baseball or the Thursday night game.
It was a combination. Seager didn't play, so that really hurt. He didn't play in the final game. And then, kind of just slipped away. But, it was a good lineup, and then it became a great lineup when Vaughn jumped in on the party. So, bottom line, like, you look at those scores across the board, and to get 70 points from my pitching, never going to be mad about it. But I do continue to feel that I want to prioritize limited all-star over limited pro, because you look at this finish right here, 302 points, 88th overall, got myself a Yelich, a $15 card plus $5 in ETH. That's $20. Up here, I scored 10 less points, come in 21st, get a Jazz. Now I got lucky. Jazz is a good pull. It was a perfect storm, low supply because of the lack of auctions with the injury. But that's a $40 card that I just sold right there. And it's, with the the 10-point discrepancy, it was kind of a really cool snapshot. And again, it's one data point, but I am filling out my pro lineup last, but I'm still doing it with upside in mind. So I'm filling out my all-star lineup first, and I'm similarly filling out the AL and the NL, because I just think that it has that same, I know from looking at the numbers, it has that same kind of lower bar because it's people's backup lineups. And then with pro, good spot for a stack, because you could still catch lightning in a bottle. And the Rangers had a 4-game week here, so this was a weird week where I did kind of prioritize pro. But in most weeks, I'm just going with a stacker or some guys that are maybe big players that are a little bit cold and might be getting faded.
I like that. I've been going more so boomer bust. I've been going for, a top 50 finish in limited pro for the rare card. Because I'm trying to build that type of gallery at this point. And then I've been a little bit torn between the limited AL, the AL and NL comps, and then the All-Star. Hopefully, I am hoping to be able to fill those out just completely with studs at some point, but when it comes to pitchers now, it's like you really need to have a little bit more depth if you're going to fill out 4 competition. So they're not going to be pitching every week. That's like a big pitching gallery. And I've started to add some arms that have been slipping. I bought a $10 Christian Javier, so hopefully he bounces back. Last start, not so much, but I think he'll be all right. I think he'll continue to come around. There's arms out there that can be, stashed and, valuable at lower price points if that's what you're looking at. So, my strategy has just been to add the big bats, continue to add the stacks, and then, work in some depth in the starting pitching rotation. Really, I'm cutting out the depth in my relief pitchers. I'm going closers. Go big or go home.
Yeah, I've kind of arrived there too. Outside of a couple guys, I think that with the, I've talked a fair amount about the guys that are getting a lot of holds and the guys that are getting pitched on back-to-back days, and I still love those guys especially on a 4-game week or even on a 3-game week where you want to play a little bit of a higher floor. But the thing that's cool about those is that I've been buying them throughout the year for anywhere between $1 and $2, and then if they fall off the face of the earth, who cares?
Right.
So guys that I'm still running like that right now are Tanner Scott and Clay Holmes to an extent. He's a little bit of a hybrid, but at the end of the day, I agree with you. Doval and Devin Williams are my main 2 guys, and they've got the biggest upside at the end of the day.
I like that because you got upside as well. Like you said, the downside is like $2, but if those guys continue to perform, maybe get traded, become closers, like or
Mhm.
continue to be used in like high leverage situations going into the playoffs, people are going to want those guys. I mean, I picked up a rare Griffin Jacks for like $3.
Mhm.
And that's, I think, already tripled in value from a floor perspective, just because the work that he's getting, as the setup man for Duran. So let's take a look at the comments real quick. Medic 31, first place in limited
No
pro
way.
last week. Let's go.
Let's pull that up.
Yeah, pull it up. What let's see what you got. Hopefully you pulled an Ohtani or a Acuna or something like that. Ohtani just hit another homer. You know what? I said this to a buddy the other day. I have a feeling that Ohtani might break Bonds' single season home run record one of these days.
If there was somebody to do it, it would be that man.
Like, my goodness, he's unstoppable. And who was that off of? Was it off of Gallen, or is Gallen Dunzo already? Gallen's been looking a little bit dicey lately. I mean, he hasn't
looked at his numbers lately.
He's been okay, but not the surefire, quality start every single time that you're looking at. So, what's next?
I don't know what Medic's username is on Sorare, but the first place in limited pro last game week, put up 401 points.
401 points. Shit show 31. I think that's him.
Is that you, Medic?
Oh yeah, 31. There we go.
Nice.
That's got to be him. That's
a big boy week right there.
That is a massive week.
Yep.
There we go.
Congrats. That is a huge lineup.
What was the reward pool?
Can I see from here?
Don't know. Strider? Oh, no. Strider was his pitcher. Yeah, view the profile. Let's do a little bit of Sorare creeping.
We're creeping. Hey, he brought it on himself. We're celebrating. We're celebrating.
No doubt. Okay.
Maybe it's already gone. He'll have to let us know.
Yeah, probably made a nice haul. So, let me see here. All right, moving on into, let's take a look at the schedule.
Sorry, continue.
I'll go for it. Let's take a look at the schedule for the upcoming week. Also, maybe just like a quick pop into the standings right now and see where things are at going into the last week prior to the break. I mean, a couple of the teams that I had on my list as to are these teams RIP, the Padres, the Mets, the Phillies. Any thoughts on those guys right there? I mean, it's been rough for the Padres. I mean, they have had a rough go about it.
Yeah, do you want to scroll down to the NL there?
Yeah, they're 3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah.
They took one from the Reds?
I would, I obviously was really high on the Padres this offseason, and I still think that they are going to be better than the way that they're playing. I think the problem is that their division is so good. Like, the three teams above them are legit. None of it is fluky. It's not the Pirates getting out to an early division lead, right? Like, the Dodgers, we don't even have to talk about that. That's its own conversation. Like, that's just a given. But the Diamondbacks are legit. The Giants are legit. We didn't know if that was necessarily the case going into this year, but you inject two teams of that caliber into this division, and it's going to be tough sailing for the Padres to climb back in. So I certainly wouldn't count them out. I think that they'll claw back into at least, flirting with a wild card berth, but tough division, man.
It is tough. I mean, 8 games below 500. I mean, it's getting into that point where it's dire straits. I mean, they not only have to help themselves out quite a bit, but they have to get a lot of other help from teams going on some losing streaks. So I do not like that for them. It's going to be interesting. I am curious as to see if the Diamondbacks can keep up the pace. I know they've been a lot of fun to watch. Maybe it's just me as a skeptic. And my Giants too, I'm believing in them, But like you said, I mean, this division is tough. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we have to keep the wheels on, can't fall apart, and stay steady and win some games. So, I mean, there's a lot of season left to play. So, we got a question.
I was just going to say a quick little plug for anybody further interested. Had a really good conversation with Ross Stripling on an episode of Talking Candy, and we actually talked a lot about his division. How people are looking at Corbin Carroll, what he thinks about the Giants and the Dodgers and the division as a whole, and talked about the AL East and the juggernaut that is. So just some really cool insight, from a ball player that's living it each and every day. So if anybody's interested in that, it's on the Talking Candy YouTube channel.
Yeah, big props to Nate on that one. That episode was incredibly done. I've showered him with my praises already on it. Go watch that episode, Nate. Like the way that you laid out that episode with the pack rips, with the questions, the series of questions that you had lined up for him was super fun. It was so cool to hear how, his commentary every time he pulled, he's like, "Oh, I faced this guy one time. I faced this guy twice. He homered off me. I gave up his very first home run."
Yeah. I was saying to you that totally unexpected. Knew that we were going to talk about some cool subjects and then open some packs in between to break it up and add interest. But when he started dropping the little dimes on, traded for this guy, home run to this guy, that was the cool stuff. And he talked a lot about what Clayton Kershaw meant to the early stage of his career, and then we ended up pulling one. And so just cool experience.
Incredible. Yeah. I love the comparison that he put on himself and Walker Buehler, right? Like as rookies, Walker Buehler, he's like, okay, some people are in there like proving themselves, like not knowing if they're worthy of being there. And then there's guys like Walker Buehler coming in, oozing of confidence. He was born for this. He wants to be under the, under the limelight, like from the very get-go, which was so cool to kind of hear about that. Two different styles of players. We got a question from James. James says, do you think there ever be a utility or a bonus for having a complete team collection in So Rare? We actually, I talked about this last week on the solo episode. It sounds like they're moving towards that in NBA. So it's not something that I'm going to be, I think I've learned a lesson in spending for, speculation reasons, right? Like on the Top Shot side of things, on the candy side of things, building collections, having it be for whatever reason. I don't think I'll have enough bandwidth to add full team collections just for a boost in XP. But there's definitely going to be people who are doing it if it becomes a possibility. And I could see it factoring into, getting it across the line or getting up to the podium for certain circumstances for sure. So, James, I think that's something that's coming down the pipeline, not this year, maybe next year. We're starting to hear about it for the NBA. So usually as things work out successfully in, say, like So Rare football, then it translates over to the NBA, then it translates over into baseball as well. So, DJ Local says
I think it would be cool if so. I think that So Rare's game right now is really, really well designed. We talk about it all the time. It's just got a really good balance to it in terms of the gameplay and the duration of the week, the scoring system, et cetera, but not dissimilar to what they've done with the Sandlot on a very simple level. I think that it would be cool if what Jim is talking about, like, what if they just bake that into a specific little contest that has unique bonuses for unique styles of lineups? Like maybe it's if you put all 7 players from one team, you get a bonus. Maybe if you play, whatever it doesn't have to be crazy elaborate either. It can start simple, but finding little ways where people that are collecting a certain way or putting in a lineup with a little bit more risk to it get a little bit of bonus if it plays out.
Yep. We'll see some wrinkles here and there. I mean, we're already starting to hear rumblings of potentially like daily contests on the NBA side of things too. And I think that would be fun for baseball too. So if we could see stuff like that, I mean, man, we're in trouble. DJ Local says Bueller's an awesome dude. Yeah, I mean, he's a stud. That's for sure. He's fun. He's actually a weekly co-host on one of my favorite MLB podcasts. Shout out to Just Baseball. They have their own private league on So Rare, and I actually made my first podium in their private league. So
Nice.
I took third out of like 195 people in that private league. And yeah, I think they're going to send me some merch. So
Very cool.
we'll
Congrats.
see. But that was a big week. I mean, I don't know how I didn't take first with the score that I put up in that league. So shouts to them. Yeah, it's a great podcast. I've been on them for a long time. Recommend you checking it out. Let's take a look back into, I guess, the NL Central. The Reds, are we for real here? Are the Cubs going to have a little bit of run in them? They're kind of in the same situation, I think, but in a less tough of a division, So like, you'd like to think that the Cardinals aren't out of it yet, but man, I just can't call them dead. The Cards.
Yeah, I think anybody could make a run still in this division. There's some overperforming happening. There's some underperforming happening. The Cubs have pretty nice surprise in what they've gotten from Steele and Stroman. The Brewers have gotten a very hit or miss Corbin Burns to date. The Reds have something really exciting going on here with Ellie and Spencer Steer, and Votto just came back, and
McLean.
Yep.
I mean, he's just, I think today was his, they broke his like 17 game on base streak or something like that, or hit streak, one of the two.
Yeah. So I think that the Reds, could hang around. The thing that's cool about the Reds is that they legitimately have a lot of young talent that we just don't know one way or the other, right? Like guys like Ashcraft. What is his name? Is it Ashcraft?
Yeah.
Ashcraft, and their pitching in general. There's a lot of guys that have gotten shelled a fair amount the first half of the season that they could figure some things out. They're all so young. They've got a lot of talent there, and you just don't know where it could lead. So if Ellie keeps being that spark plug, and plus those other, he's not alone, like we just said. So it's an exciting team.
It is. I actually watched a good amount of their series against the Padres, and Ashcraft has looked good the past couple starts. I think before the Padres, I mean, he looked pretty dominant against the Padres. He looked like back.
Yeah.
But I think he pitched good against the Braves, if I want to say that. I'm not sure if that was right. The start before that as well looked okay. And then Williamson actually looked okay too. He's a rookie, and he looked good against the Padres too. So, we'll see. You never know. They've been definitely fun to watch. One of those teams that I love turning on the TV for. The NL East, the Phillies and the Mets. I mean, 12 games back, 19 games back. The Mets are almost done. I mean, just because they're so far back. I mean, we can take a look at the wild card standings, but man, it's going to be a tough road ahead for the Mets. 9 games back in the wild card going into the break. So unless they really get hot and they get some help from, maybe the whole entire NL Central, which they could do. I mean, the whole entire NL Central is above them. So it's doable, but they're going to need to work some magic.
Yeah, the Mets are in trouble, especially because they're the Mets. I think that the Phillies are a team that I definitely would not count out yet. I just have to believe that, they're obviously, the record is far from bad. They just happen to be in a division with a team that's running away with it. But the fact that they've got the offense that they have, they've got guys like Nola and Wheeler. Ranger Suarez has been actually no, that's no, that is it. Yeah. But like they've got a team there, and they've got a good record, and I think that they will turn something on. I don't know what are the Marlins? Are they legit? Can they really hang around? It's a fun team there, but I wouldn't count the Phillies out. I think the Mets are in trouble.
I agree. I can't count them out quite yet, but I mean, because they're just so. I mean, I don't know. You think Lindor, Alonso, like the quality of players that they have in their lineup could come through, but it doesn't look like Verlander is quite panned out like they want to. They're having some trouble. The Phillies, I completely agree. Marlins, we'll see. I mean, they're young. Yuri Perez has looked amazing. He got rocked by the Braves. I think they put up, I mean, I had like a 6-game like parlay going, no runs first inning. Yuri Perez gave up 6. So that was a tough pill to swallow, but it'll be interesting to watch that division going into it. Maybe we talk AL just briefly before we kind of pick out some of the game week 28 matchups that we like and the stacks and stuff like that. Medic wants to know, do we think Cleveland will beat out the Twins? You want to take that one? I got some thoughts on that.
I haven't paid super close attention to this division. I know that, a guy like Jose Ramirez having underperformed for the first 2/3 of this first half of baseball didn't help the Guardians. I think that Bieber underperformed in the first half. My blind spot is that I haven't watched a whole lot of Minnesota baseball, so I don't really know exactly where they stand. I know they've got some guys that are playing well, but I think that it's kind of it's a mediocre division, and I personally like Cleveland, so I think that they're a fun team to root for, but I don't know. I think that one's kind of a coin flip from where I'm standing.
I agree. That's going to be a tough one to call right now. I think it's going to depend on who gets hot. I think I want to say that the Twins started off the season. I think they led the MLB in team home runs last year. And I think they started off in the same boat this year and have cooled down very significantly. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chats. But, I mean, Buxton needs to pick it up. Correa needs to pick it up. They've both been lagging. I mean, those are the 2 core guys in their lineup that they kind of build around and they platoon around and stuff like that. So, I mean, their arms have looked all right, but not as good as they did at the beginning of the season. I think Cleveland definitely has a little bit more momentum than they do. And they got a bunch of like good young arms too. So, if I were to put my money on one of those 2 teams, I'm going with the Guardians, but it's probably just because, I like them a little bit better. They're fun.
Me too.
Yeah. So
one little note something that I do know because I target it against Minnesota. No offense strikes out more than Minnesota in all of the major leagues. So if you've got a pitcher that's even kind of middle of the road, that's a great high upside play to target those Minnesota bats.
There we go. Gold nugget right there. I like that. The Guardians, it's not that I don't like the Twins either. I'm fine with that team. I think they're fun to watch, but
yeah,
man, the Guardians have a soft spot for them after last year. Last year was just too much fun.
Yeah,
to watch.
I still love Tito, my favorite Red Sox manager. Terry.
There we go. East, kick it off. I mean, every single team positive run differential over 500. Red Sox at the bottom of the division, but I mean, it's wide open. I mean, at least the wild card. One of these teams, if not 2 of them, at least is going to be in the wild card. So, continue to be fun to watch on all levels.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still loving watching the Red Sox. They've been a pretty hot and cold team, but there's so many fun bats in that lineup. There's so much to be excited about. The pitching continues to just be an absolute struggle, mostly because of injuries. If everybody was healthy, we'd have a real nice rotation. But as we know, Sale is out. Whitlock pitched 1 inning today and then had elbow discomfort. He's back out for who knows how long. Probably puts Pivetta back in there. Brian Bayo's been great. We gave his card away when it was sitting at like $2, and he's like a $12 card on So Rare now. So he's been awesome. Paxton looked real good his last time out, but at the end of the day, the pitching has just been so hit or miss, and you can't win a championship with just a good lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was I forget exactly which podcast I was listening to this week that did a little bit of a deep dive into the Red Sox. It might have been Starting 9, Barstool one. What do you think? Do you think they sell Paxton at the deadline, or what do you think is going to go down? I mean, they have to basically. I don't know if they're playing for this year, right? But they have a young core. I mean, like, they have a lot to be excited about, but maybe just 1 year away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was hanging out at a barbecue yesterday with a bunch of my buddies and Red Sox fans, and we were having this conversation, like, what do they do with Justin Turner? Kind of
Yep.
guy that like could easily be somebody that gets moved at the deadline. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, because they're in last place in the division, but they're absolutely a wild card team. And you've got a fan base that wants it, that needs it, like looking for you to compete. And if you're not going to go get the starting pitching that we need to be a championship team, then at least be fighting to be a playoff team. So I don't know what they're going to do. I probably don't really care either way, because like you said, if they're not that top tier, it's just not going to happen. So if we can get really positive moves out of it that set us up to be a much better team next year, then by all means. But if it's going to be another head scratching deadline like it was last year, then save me the pain and just let them fight it out.
There we go. Man, yeah, that's going to be an intense second half. I mean, the Blue Jays, they need to start picking it up. The Yankees, hopefully they can get Judge back and stay healthy. The Orioles, we'll see if they hang on, but they've been fun. Yeah, the NL East is some good stuff, man.
Speaking of Judge, we were having this conversation yesterday. It's like, what an incredible play that he made to make that out, but so not worth it. Like, gotta know just the risk that you're taking there. He's the number of games that the Yankees have lost because of that play, just in exchange for a single out. Just sucks. It's bad for baseball.
Yeah, agreed. Let's talk game week 28. I'm going to pull up the schedule. I have my notes jotted down for, the 4 game weeks, who I like. We could talk some stacks. I have some streaming pitching options that I like too. I think I took maybe 3 or 4 of them, and I don't know exactly what the prices look like on the market right now, but we could take a look at those live time too and manager sales. I usually like to do the streaming pitching options like around the $5 range. So we'll dive into those. I forgot to mention why I don't like watching Texas Rangers games.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
You're going to laugh at this, man. I mean, like, obviously one of the most fun teams to watch in baseball. They got the, best run differential in the league. Man, it's something about the ugly artificial turf and the mound with the boring and dull background that looks like the KBO league, with the fence going all the way to the ground floor. No advertisements in the back, no character. I hear Globe Life is actually really sick to go watch a game at. I hear they did a really good job with that stadium, but just the lack of like visual effect behind the batter kills me. Like the games that I turn on, like I want to watch, I mean, obviously good teams, but I mean, Wrigley and Fenway, I'll watch games there. PNC, the Reds, the park looks like a Costco. And you all know how big of a ballpark guy I am too. It's just brutal, man. Like infield turf. I was talking to somebody about this, and they're like, yeah, they basically kind of modeled it after Minute Maid, the juice box, but they angled it to the point where they can't really open the roof, or like they can't grow grass in the infield. So if you look at it from like behind the home plate view as they pan out to the outfield, it looks fine. It looks great. But like, man, it's just not doing it for me.
It's funny. It's funny because I've watched so many Rangers games, and I think I'm so busy watching the ball go over the fence that I haven't noticed that at all. Like I'm just watching Seager, Garcia, Semien just down the baseline, over the wall, stolen bases. Like, so I've been so distracted by all the so rare points I've been accumulating that I haven't even noticed it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's true. It's true. That's I mean, it's also a hitter's park too. So I don't like playing pitchers there a lot. I mean, not only because, it's a hitter's park, but they're playing the Rangers. So I'll have to DJ. I'll catch the video about it. I love watching ballpark videos. So yeah, I mean, we got some like kind of like a long 4th of July weekend. I might have to throw on like an old Giants World Series run video. I mean, I love doing stuff like that just to kind of kill the time with videos in the background.
Yeah, I haven't watched 4 Days in October in a while. Might have to go dust that one off.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so my notes. Who do we like for game week 28? So 4 games. Houston, they got 1 versus Texas, 3 versus Colorado. The Rangers have 4 games. 1 versus Houston, 3 versus Boston. And then we have a 4-game series. The Cubs in Milwaukee, at Milwaukee. 4-game series, Cincy at Washington. And I will say, I kind of have a good time watching the Washington Nationals. They're like, I don't know how they only have 33 wins. Is it
Because
33?
their pitching is so bad.
But is it really? Like Josiah Gray hasn't been
No,
terrible.
Josiah Gray has been the
Mackenzie
silver lining.
Gore is pretty good. Um, like Patrick Corbin's not, but he had a dominant start like last out.
Washington has the 5th worst team ERA in the league.
Yeah, I mean, they're young too. So, I mean, we could see them doing a little bit better. Anyways, back to it. St. Louis, 4-game series at Miami. Baltimore in the Bronx for 4 games. Cleveland has 3 with Atlanta, 1 versus Kansas City. Kansas City, 3 versus Twins, and 1 versus Cleveland. Seattle goes to San Francisco, and Houston, Pittsburgh, and the Dodgers, 4-game series in LA. 3 games. I don't even think I finished that one off, but some notable teams: Atlanta, Minnesota, Angels and Padres, Giants and Red Sox with 3 games. What jumps out at you?
The Reds for sure jump out at me like all of next week, game week
Mm-hmm.
28 and 29. 4 games at Washington, 3 games at Milwaukee, especially lefty hitters. That for sure jumps off the page. I like the Red Sox a lot, especially in game week 29. But even against Texas, Texas is nasty. You don't necessarily want to start starting pitcher against them, but their pitching's just okay. Like it's fine. It's getting the job done, and that's all they need when they're scoring 15 runs a game. But Boston bats coming alive a little bit. Duran went 5 for 5 today. Justin Turner has been really hot. Verdugo's been hot. So I like that. I like Arizona. But yeah, you had a pretty solid list. I'll save my game week 29 list here.
Yeah, we had a question in from Medic. Top middle infielder for next week. Seager is cold. DJ Loco with the response. Altuve has 4 games. Altuve's on fire right now. He hit another home run today. Did he have a 2 home run game recently? He might have. But yeah, he's swinging the bat really good these days. I like that call.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the funds, and it's easier said than done because there's so few of them, but Mookie middle infielder card right now is just unreal. I got his common for my tier 1 reward last game week, and changes everything for that lineup. Like to have one of those in a real lineup would be huge. He's unconscious right now.
Huge. Those come with a big price tag for sure. I looked at those.
Yep.
The first one that they released with it was a sneaky one. I don't think a ton of people were bidding on it, that action, and somebody got a nice little price on that. But yeah, you can't beat Mookie at the middle infielder spot. That's for sure. I got a comment of him also.
Also, Ketel Marte has just like he's having a bad game week, but what's 3 days, right? He's been absolutely insane. So really in any matchup, but actually has a pretty good matchup against the Mets. So I like Marte as well.
Yeah, McLean's still on fire. Albies has been lights out. I mean, I think, I'm not going to put him top tier, but Arcia had a good week too. I mean, like the Braves are just the Braves. 3 game weeks, but when it comes to those teams, yeah, I like the Altuve call. Does Arizona have 3 or 4 next week? I forget. I think
3.
Arizona 3. Yeah. But middle infield, yeah. Give me
Here's over the last 2 weeks, last 15 games, middle infielders in Sorare. Number 1 spot, McLean with 167. Mookie with 163, Lindor 162. Then it drops to Ellie 144, Ozzy 141, and Hassan Kim with 140. He's got 4 home runs in the last 2 weeks. So
Kim's been on fire.
That's your top 6 right there in the middle infield.
There we go. Nice. Good stuff. what else do we got? I think a couple other things. We got Erod is back. He's got to start versus Oakland. I like that. When it comes to streaming pitchers, these are hit or miss, but I'll pull up maybe the marketplace and kind of take a look at what we got here. But a couple that I jotted down: Smiley at Milwaukee, Braxton Garrett in St. Louis, Ashcraft at Washington. Especially after that start, Ashcraft. Let's take a look at Ashcraft. That could be a good one if he stays up on this pace. That could be really nice. JP Sears, Oakland at Detroit. I think he actually. No, I streamed him in fantasy against Cleveland. He actually looked really nice. Bassett had a good bounce back start last week, so we're back on him. Williamson, Gore, and as a wild card, Flaherty, high K rate, but hasn't looked great, and he's been a little bit injured too. So let us know in the chat who you guys are stacking, what pitchers you're streaming, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to pull up my screen right now and kind of take a look at some prices. Let me see here. Braxton Garrett might be a good one. St. Louis. Here we go. $7. Okay. Pitchers to stash, to stream, and then stash permanently. That's what I really like. I said, find guys who are, going to have a really good matchup and then just keep them in the rotation, keep them in the pen. Really kind of got to know when to deploy them at the right time. Like, these guys aren't going to be 100% all the time. You're not going to start them every single game week like you would a Gosman, but it's good to have the depth, or you can flip them in, flip them out. Same thing.
It's really important to understand. We've talked about this before, but you don't have to do super deep research to understand who the 5 worst pitching staffs are. The 5 worst bullpens, stuff like that is really easy to find. Who gives up the most runs, the most hits, like which offenses to avoid. That stuff adds up. That's why you have splits. That's why you have, guys that go up and down throughout a long season. So putting yourselves in those advantageous spots in the right matchups is the key to Sorare for sure.
For sure. My favorite part about it. It's so much fun to strategize in that way. A couple different price points. We had, Diop 85, Luzardo. Yeah, I agree. Not quite a streamer, but he is a nice play against St. Louis. He's looked really good. $14. JP Sears is $3.65. He had a good start against Cleveland. Don't know what he did last start. I don't know if he made a start against New York or not. But could be a good option at Detroit. Who are the other guys?
He got knocked around by New York. 4 innings, 5 runs.
Okay. Well, there we go. What else do we got? Ashcraft is who I wanted to look up to.
Yeah, he's very affordable, super volatile, coming off a really good start, but has been shelled so many times. So got to know that it's a super volatile play. But like you said, coming off a great game, and 327, pretty affordable.
Bassett, I think I picked him up for 6 a couple weeks ago. There, he's still around 6. Love it. Let me see here. All right, game week 29. Let's dial it up.
Do you have your settings to show the 2022 cards as the floor? Because when I type in Ashcraft, I'm still getting his 2023 card on top.
No, I don't think I did anything. I filtered it as newly listed, but that's basically it. Let me see if
weird.
No, I'm not sure.
You know what I mean, right? We've talked about this, how it shows like the wrong floor because it only shows 2023, but you're getting an accurate floor on those.
Yeah, that's changed since we last talked. So,
but mine's still showing 2023 stacked on the top.
Interesting.
I'm still reading the wrong floor when I look at the stack view.
Yeah, weird. Taking a look at my settings because I know we talked about that one time, but I thought it was just a change that they made automatically. It's been showing up for me correctly lately. So
you're in the bougie tier. You got that pushed out to your account first.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy. Come the All-Star break, that's when So Rare started last year. So it'll be a 1-year anniversary type of thing, which is really cool to see how much the game's developed.
Super cool, and have had such a blast learning the game through the first half, and feel like we're going into the second half with a much more deliberate strategy with how I set my lineups and how I balance everything.
Yep. Yep. My gallery has been a lot more balanced lately too. I think I went from 100 limited cards down to like 65,
Nice.
and probably like 10 rare cards up to like 25 or something like that. So,
Nice.
but yeah, let's take a look at game week 29, which I didn't prepare a ton for, particularly on this episode, but I know you jotted down a couple of notes for what it's going to look like going into the last weekend before the break.
Yeah, I've got a quick little hit list here. Arizona going against Pittsburgh, especially righties in that. So looking at Christian Walker, Ketel Marte is a switch hitter, but his splits lean, righty favored. So yeah, definitely Arizona there. Carroll's a righty, isn't he? Yeah, Carroll's a righty. Carroll's cards are just insane. Like you
Carroll's,
look at,
he's a lefty. Yeah.
Lefty? Okay, my bad. Shows that I don't have one. Was so close to pulling the trigger on his limited when it was $50, like a little over a month ago, and you can't get one for less than $120 now. They've just gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Such a low supply, and it's the kind of thing where it's just a card that if somebody owns it, they have no interest in selling it. So there's just nothing out there to be purchased, which is why you see the prices that you see. So it's a combination of, he's playing really well, but also there's just nobody looking to sell that card.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that goes into too. I mean, like, and I'll just say here, like, I had a little like spot set up for like a strategy segment. We've been talking strategy the whole time, so it's a perfect time to kind of mention it. A couple of the things going into my buying strategy for the rest of this season, I had already mentioned playoff teams, but like age of the player definitely comes into consideration here. It's like, am I going to want to spend on somebody like, JD Martinez, as opposed to one of the younger guys who's also going to be on a playoff teams that has a little bit more upside, that may not just be the hot play this season, but can hold them in, for depth in the gallery for years, to come down the road. So
Absolutely.
That's something that I'm keeping my eye on for sure. Corbin Carroll, 122 for 122 for his common card. I remember his rare being 122. I'm like, goodness.
Yeah. And I think this is the strategy that
nobody wants to sell.
It's so much fun to think about So Rare in terms of being here for the next 3, 5, 8, 10 years, because if they can pull this off and continue to grow this user base into a flourishing, contest ecosystem, then the collections that we start now, they just continue to yield, and you don't have to put more money into it if you don't want. You have a way to fill out your 4 limiteds or your 4 rares or your 4 super, or whatever it is that you want to play. If you stick around, it really is, like you said, picking those younger guys that you're going to get 5 to 10 years of good service out of, you hope, as opposed to a guy that's at the tail end of his career. So it's the ultimate dynasty league when it comes to fantasy baseball, and it's a lot of fun to project out like that.
Super fun, man. Yeah, and more, with the more wrinkles that'll come along too down the road, like it's just all stuff that we could look forward to. Rodon's making his first start this week too. That'll be interesting to see.
That's big.
That is huge.
Yeah.
We'll see how that turns out. Hopefully he comes back healthy and looks like he did last year. I know you're a Red Sox fan, but that's when players are healthy and good and at their peak.
Sure. Right? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. All right. So just to round out the game week 29 list, always got to take a look at whoever's playing Oakland. That's my Boston Red Sox in that game week. So especially righties in that Oakland's a little bit stronger against lefty hitters between the two. And then, like I said, Cincinnati facing Milwaukee, especially lefties. Not a bad matchup there. Cleveland against Kansas City, always a good target, no matter who's playing them. And then San Francisco versus Colorado, and Texas at Washington. I think looking forward to stacking Texas and Boston in 2 separate lineups with that game week.
The Boston one's going to be nice for sure, especially at Fenway. JP Sears, a lefty. I think Justin Turner. I think some of the righties in that lineup.
Yep.
And they'll be fine either way. I mean, Devers had a really nice game week this past week. It looks like he's starting to heat up again, which is always good to see.
Yep.
Giants in Coors. That's going to be a fun one. I mean, we had a good series there last time, but I don't own many Giants guys. It's hard.
That one's actually in San Francisco, just to clarify.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It is.
But still a really good matchup. Colorado does not have good pitching.
Yep. Yeah, their pitching is definitely struggled. What else do we got here? Game week. Yeah, that Friday going into the All-Star break. Let's pull up the All-Star starters. I didn't even see that. I was prepping for the episode, and I think that'd be fun to take a look at as we go off. We can also make our picks for the Sunday Night Baseball. If you want to go against Stripling, go for it. But I'm riding with my Giants.
We're going Giants together.
Let's go, baby. We need a Doval save.
First start back for Strip. Love to see it.
What's that?
First start back for Strip off the IL.
I'm going to be glued into that. And we need a Doval save too. So Stripling can only go 8. You can't go the CG.
I can go for that. I got Doval. He could help me with one of my lineups as well.
There we go. Let me see here. All-Star. Let me see here. Did they announce the 2024 All-Star game? Did I see somewhere it was in Texas?
Didn't see.
Okay. I'm not positive on that. Let me see here. Snubs. Here we go. Yeah, I like that. Good call from DJ Local.
Texas. It is Texas.
Wander Franco snubbed as an All-Star starter. Did he make the All-Star team? He had to have.
Had to have.
Maybe they haven't announced the reserves yet, but biggest snub for sure. Second biggest snub, Chapman, but I'm okay with that.
He cooled off so much.
Yeah. Who ended up as the third base starter, though? Where's the list? All-Star.
Third base is Josh Young.
Well deserved. I'll take that. It's not bad.
Arenado for the NL, Young for the AL.
Okay, here we go. ESPN, Twitter. Twitter's the best. All right. Okay. Oh, so they have announced the rosters. Is this right? It's got to be right.
I would bet on it.
So that's a lot more than just starters right here.
Yeah.
Let's go to ESPN Twitter. Okay, here's the rosters. Ronald Acuna, Elias Diaz, nice. Sean Murphy, Will Smith, Albies, Alonso, Arcia. That's a nice one. He's having a good season. I saw some video that talked about how many Braves have like positive WAR or WRC plus or something like that, and they're just on a record smash. They're like it's like seven of their starters.
They're nuts.
Freddie
I don't know who beats them.
Yeah, nice first. I think that was the first overall pick by Greg, right?
Probably. It was a good one too.
Cool to see Lourdes Gurriel Jr. in there as an all-star. Yep. JD Martinez, Jorge Soler, Bryce Elder as a pitcher rookie. Josiah Gray made the all-star. Good for him. Hader, Mitch Keller, Kershaw, Steele, Strider, Stroman, Williams. Really nice lineup there. Maybe the National League can actually win an all-star game one of these days, but who knows?
Not rooting for it.
It's so brutal. What's the split?
At least it doesn't count for anything anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Shohei, Jonah Heim in there, well deserved, having a really good season. Bichette, Yandy Diaz, that guy's cooled off though, man. I need to see Yandy get hot again. Vladdy, Josh Young, Whit Merrifield as an all-star. How about that?
Having a great year, stealing a lot of bags.
Yeah. Semyon, Jordan, Randy, Austin Hayes. Okay.
How cool is it that Corey Seager misses 6 weeks and then still makes the All-Star game?
I mean,
it's tearing it up.
Yeah, he's that good. Who the Kenley Jansen, head scratcher.
I mean, he has been good. He has been good. He had a really bad week where he blew 3 of them, and it was just the world was about to explode. But other than that, on the season, 3.45 ERA, 17 saves. Let's see, where does that put him? League leaders.
Okay, here's the starters. At catcher, Sean Murphy, Jonah Heim, both first-time All-Stars. That's awesome. First base, Yandy Diaz and Freddie Freeman. Arias and Semyon. Arenado and Josh Young. Arcia and Seager. JD and Shohei. Acuna, Mookie, Corbin Carroll. That's a fun outfield. Let's see, Freddie. Oh, so Freddie got the nod over Olsen, huh? AL outfield, Trout, Arozarena, Judge. Yeah, nice. I mean, no major complaints, but yeah. maybe Yandy or maybe Wander over Seager. Yeah,
I'm going Seager.
Yeah. Seager it is.
It's a tough one. Wander's had a great first half too.
No doubt. Wander maybe makes it after Judge and Alvarez are replaced, so he didn't make the roster, huh? I didn't even see that. Okay. Well, yeah, that definitely is a snub then. What else do we got here? We are at the top of the hour. We don't need to make our picks. We're riding with Stripling.
We're riding the Strip.
Was his last start against the Mets on Sunday Night Baseball in San Francisco?
Was it?
It might have been. I'm feeling a lot of deja vu on that. Because I remember we were on here, we were calling the game. It was a Sunday Night Baseball in San Francisco against the Mets, and I rode with the Giants. You guys took.
I don't think he was starting though.
I think he was.
His last outing was May 17th. Well, he pitched 3 innings in relief the other day, but before that, May 17th against Philly, he went 3 1/3.
Okay. It would have been before that.
Oh, you're right. Against the Mets on 4/23.
Yep.
Yeah, because he struck out Pete Alonso that night, and that was right after the Candy Ambassadors had been announced. And
yeah. Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
So that'll be super fun. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. We'll hopefully everybody in the chat sweating out some nice rewards. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, jump into the Discord, hang out during the week. Super fun in there. Lots of fun and helpful people. Just an all around good time. I'm gonna be back here next week, going into the All-Star break. Kind of wrap things up. Just do a quick live stream. Maybe talk some home run derby, maybe play some home run derby, underdog wagers or something like that. Have some fun with it. Maybe a short episode. But nonetheless, I'll be back here next Sunday. Got anything else, Nate?
I should be here too. I don't see any reason why not. I know it's been a little back and forth this summer, just the way it goes, but I should be here with you to talk about the Derby.
Nice, man. Pumped to get into the second half of the season. It's been a blast so far. We're going to go strong. We're going to go hard into the second half of the season and the postseason, which is what baseball is made for. So All right, we're signing off, guys. Thanks for being in the chat. Appreciate you all. Should do an all-star game giveaway. I'll dial it up. We'll look into it. We'll run it on Twitter. We'll run it in the Discord, and then we'll give it away live on stream next week. So thanks, everybody, for stopping in, being here today. Had a blast. Nate, we'll catch you soon.
Sounds
Have a
good.
good one.
Thanks, guys.